Sometimes things just go wrong. And when they do, we don't always bounce back in any reasonable amount of time. We go through trials a lot of time and feel like we've been defeated, right? When people ask me how to bounce back from being defeated because of my work teaching people how to live with the highest standards, I like to share the story with them. There was a woman who I used to work with. It's the company she started working with when she was 16. She had worked there her entire working life. You have the same job in a small town for over 30 years. One Friday, the owner came to tell everyone that their business was going to close because they have lost all of their clients to new technology. The woman was in shock, to say the least. She didn't know what she was going to do. This woman didn't have any savings. She had 2 kids and her husband died a year earlier. She didn't know how she would survive the next few weeks even. Imagine what you would do in that situation. She went home and did what any sane person would do. She watched opera. The show was about Elie Wiesel, who talked about how he had overcome living in a concentration camp. Elie became her living hero. She learned by recognizing how heroic in his humanity he was and what he had become, despite what he had endured in his life. She decided in her defeated state that she wanted to reconnect with herself and figure it out. She wanted to survive. The story illustrates a reframing on how we still have a choice, even when we feel defeated in our life. She could have easily given up. She could have lived on the streets. The mere fact that she happened to be watching opera gave her the motivation to make a decision. I want to give you a framework to use whenever you feel defeated. You may want to subscribe so you can watch this video again if you're ever in this situation. This is the framework I use whenever I feel defeated in any situation. It happened to me, yes. The first thing I do is get it out of my head. What does this mean? How does this work? I know from doing this in my live events that we all play these movies in our heads, and a lot of time we play them over and over. The movies that we play in our minds are extremely distracting. They start to control our emotions in a manner that takes away any sanity we have left for making wise decisions. When we write down all of our thoughts about what's actually wrong, we start to see that the issue comes from a certain place. So if I lose my job and I feel defeated, I started to think about how I was wrong and how I was treated. I begin to create a list of how it feels like to be a victim. When I see the list, I realize there's something wrong with my way of thinking. When things are written down, it's so much easier to be objective and to work through these emotions in hours, days, or weeks versus years or decades. The next thing is to schedule a date or time in your calendar for the transformative moment. How does this work? It works every time something major happens, which I had already written down. I open up my calendar and schedule a day or time to remind myself to have a transformational moment. What is a transformational moment? Usually, when something bad happens, and I mean really bad, it's usually followed by fresh and new changes in your life. When you use this framework, you are more likely to have these transformational moments because you're looking for them. Since it's very unnatural for us to automatically feel inspired, positive, and ready to take on the world when something bad happened to us, when really need to practice looking for these transformational moments. What I've seen in all my students who look for transformational moments in their biggest defeats is that they start getting more transformational moments in their lives and experience fewer catastrophes. The third and final thing is to connect with your purpose during trying times. What we mean by connecting with your purpose is to really think about how your role in your life and in the lives to others. You need to be confident, strong, and self-loving. When we feel defeated, we lose connection to that. And it's okay to be disconnected, but only as long as it needs to be. We have to be so careful not to get into the downward spiral, where we start creating defeating habits. I've seen this often happen. People get really good at defeating themselves. Imagine if every day you found ways to not be happy. How much time did it take to forget what happiness was like? I share with you the answer. It doesn't take a lot of time. Sometimes it only takes a few weeks. So be careful, nurture yourself so that you don't dwell too long in the state of self-defeat. I know it was pretty intense video. Write your comments below and share with us your past biggest defeats and what you had done to kickstart your future successes.